Sit back, sit back. It's the Looney Show. You know what
So guys,
Sean Combs, The Reckoning, Episode 2. Like, here we are again. Oh, 50 cents. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Count your days, bitch. Count your days.
once again, a lot to unpack.
Yes.
Here we go with it.
I will say, this time around, they went into a different direction from the first episode.
Yeah.
I was actually not gonna lie. I thought we skipped. I really felt like we skipped some time, and we didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting how how much happened in such a short amount of time. The things that happened with Puffy between 1992 and 1997, incredible. Incredible rise into what he did. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words because it's just it's unfathomable of the type of success that he had. I almost want to say that he was probably the most successful person at his age group.
Yeah.
At that time period.
He was.
At that time period, and who has been that successful that's at that time period, at that young. I can't think of anybody who was that successful even after him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So let's kind of discuss the time zone so you can get an idea exactly what transpired. Because when we left off, he had just turned that incident of 9 deaths into basically the beginning of Bad Boys. Now, we already know that he was once again fired from the Motown Def Jam, and he wanted Uptown Records, and he wanted to go ahead and start Bad Boys. Now, his first artist on Bad Boys was Notorious B.I.G. So with episode 2, we start to cross onto the Notorious B.I.G. and how he went ahead and campaigned him. Because you already know with Motown, he had Jodeci and Mary J. And with both of those groups, he did phenomenal. So he already had the experience to go ahead and write off of, to go ahead and be and back Notorious B.I.G. Coming up in a hip hop game. Now, it's very important with Notorious B.I.G. because it was a complete shift from R&B, Jodeci, and Mary J. And that's because at that time, the West Coast had hardcore rappers and Suge Knight.
Yes.
And they were at the top of the chart.
Absolutely. And he needed somebody that was more hardcore street. Mary J. Blige and Jodeci were hip hop soul. That's what they were.
Not only that, they were on Motown Records, Uptown Records, right?
Yeah, yes, they were on Uptown.
So once he got fired, he couldn't take those artists. He had to have an artist onto himself, build himself. This was the start of Puff Daddy P. Diddy with the build of Notorious B.I.G. And he went that route because the West Coast was winning at this time.
They were. They had a better business model. They had a more. They had a very. They had a very intelligent lead in Suge Knight. Let alone somebody that was actually there for them. I will say about Suge Knight that is not touched on a lot. He was there for his artists.
Yeah.
100%.
With episode 2, it showed how Puff Daddy used the system to skim and make more money for himself. And basically uh you know, make more profit for himself and his company, but was not for his artists. Unlike Suge Knight, was for his artists, was bringing more out of the, Suge Knight was more for the black community, shall I say. He wanted his artists to take from the music industry because he understood who ran it, shall I not say. And also those type of people who were into that hardcore hip hop were whites. So he wanted to exploit whites and exploit producers. And he was using blacks to do it. And he wanted us to get more bang for our buck. He was all for, listen, what can we get from them? Unlike Puff Daddy, which was kind of schooled in the game by Clyde, he was more on how he can exploit his artists and more money for himself. And that was the difference. But the thing about that is, during that time when he wanted to reinvent himself, being Doe, he could not come after Kirk, because this is what I think. Kirk had that R&B soul Motown, new Motown sound off the rip, basically. Yeah, but I said new Motown because I considered that new R&B kind of a new. Yeah,
absolutely.
I
understand that for sure.
Mm-hmm. So he had that on lock. No way he can sit there and try to take over that genre. So what he wanted to do was create, once again, what Puff Daddy does, a lane for himself. And he created a new hip hop hardcore type of for the East Coast with Biggie.
Did. Absolutely. He did that. I will say, with episode 2, we were delving it like the first episode was delving into a lot of just like how he became Puffy, how he started Bad Boy, how Bad Boy became a thing, how the events occurred for Bad Boy to to even become as a thought. This episode,
yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, I was saying earlier that the timeline was like, I felt like there was something, like there has to be something missing here. For me, there was something missing in between these times. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, with my writing degree, I'm like, something is missing, and I don't know. I'm not exactly sure or 100% sure what it is. But when I was sitting here, they're sitting here relaying the facts of what is what. I was like, oh wow. I was like, this really adds up. I said, but there's just so much, so much different stuff that's going on. And just sitting here watching this and just hearing about hearing these different people that worked for Puffy, that were very close with him, and they were really just people that were doing their job, and I thought that they were doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
They really did. And at the end of the day, they all can't sit there and fathom that they got played by some kid. Let's just keep that real.
I want to go back to start with the timeline because that's very important as well. Because I was always how the media put the timeline out that Biggie was first to die before Pac. Did you notice that? But how it all laid out, it was actually Pac first. And it makes sense now because with that timeline, because it's very important to understand how the media put that. If you think Biggie, then Pac, you think that P. Diddy may have contributed to Biggie and Suge Knight contribute to Pac. But if you look at the timeline and understand it's actually Pac before Biggie, then you understand that Biggie contribute to both deaths. The connection between Biggie and Pac, and during that crucial time, Biggie was done with Puffy. He was ready to cross over, go with Pac, go with West Coast, go with Def Jam, be hardcore. Whatever P Diddy was doing.
Death Row, not Def Jam. Death Row.
Yeah, Death Row. Whatever P Diddy was doing, he was not with it.
Yeah.
And he set that up. Now, mind you, because Pac and Big was so close, he thought if he got rid of Pac, it would stop Biggie from doing that crossover. He felt like he always had a problem with Pac because Biggie and Pac was so close. Close. So what Biggie did was he got rid of Pac. Now Pac was not his artist. Pac was Suge's artist. You got rid of my number one artist because yours was about to leave. Not only did he do that, but because of that whole comment on the awards, because he's very vindictive, he holds grudges, he also got rid of Suge Knight's best friend. So that's Pac, because once again, Pac came first. Suge had nothing to do with Pac. You would think he did not. Then, come to turn around, because now Suge already know what you did. I'm out for blood. I want your artist like you took my artist. I want Biggie. Now, Looney, finish it off.
You want Biggie.
Tell him how big you want. Biggie knew.
Biggie knew something was up because he felt like, man, I feel like someone's out there to kill me. And he said this in an interview. It's one of his last interviews before he was murdered. And he was supposed to go to London for some type of promotion because he was supposed to go on to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. There was going to be all this big things and promotions and everything else, and it's just really, it's just very interesting, really watching these things because it really starts to make your stomach turn a little bit. Just really how this all transpired.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Diddy was basically saying that, oh, he ain't gonna make it there. He was adamant on saying that he wasn't gonna make it there, even though Biggie was trying to get there.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to get there because of the simple fact if he went there, that's when he knew that he was gonna lose him to go to death row.
Mm-hmm. He did everything in his power to convince him to go to Kali.
Yeah.
And I don't even think, because think about it. I don't even think we were losing Biggie to Death Row. I think Biggie was going independent because if we think about it, the reason why he didn't want to go to Kali because he knew Suge was out to get revenge because of Pop. I don't think if Biggie would have went to Death Row, would Suge had still did what he did. He did what he did to do what he did. Biggie was going independent. And Suge eliminated the artist like his artist was eliminated.
It's a possibility.
And he didn't want to go because he knew he was going to get eliminated and he wasn't going on neither one. Biggie was going independent.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility that I was going independent.
Think about it. If you're coming to my side anyway, why would I want to kill you?
But no, but
it should kill Biggie.
I'm thinking but I'm also thinking about the
allegedly.
Times. I'm thinking about the times as well, and it was very common for music artists of that time to be signed for security reasons to be signed under labels. So I'm not saying that maybe it's a possibility.
Not at that time. At that time, Biggie could have went independent. At that time,
I'm not.
When he was leaving Puffy.
I'm not saying saying that couldn't happen. Yeah. What I'm saying is, it's just that a lot of artists at that time about going independent. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that that they were speaking about all too often.
Now think about it. We know for a fact that Biggie was going to leave Puffy. And Biggie did not want to go to LA because Biggie knew that, or California, that Suge was getting revenge. If I'm going to Suge label, why would I kill my artist if he's already coming against, away from Puffy, and that's my enemy? I wouldn't kill him. I killed him because he was not coming with me. He was leaving Puffy. He was going independent and he was still a threat. But I killed him on a simple fact. If he was coming to me, I already got laugh. I done took your artist and I'm about to make him blow up. Oh, that's even a more smack in the face. Why would I get rid of him? Which we both know Suge did Notorious. It was still off of the fact of what Puffy did. Big was going independent. Big was not signing with nobody. And it makes sense. Because Suge was a bully. Big was going independent.
Or maybe they were in negotiations.
Why? Puffy did not get rid of Big. Puffy just pushed Big to LA because he already knew what Suge was going to do for what he did to Pop.
He gambled. I'm sorry.
He knew.
No, he gambled.
He killed his best friend and Pop. He knew he was going to kill Biggie if anybody stepped foot in LA.
This is the thing.
Or Kali.
This is the thing.
It was no gamble. Yeah. He was smart.
He was smart.
It was no gamble.
It was still a gamble.
No.
It was still a gamble.
To the point where Biggie even knew not to go. So to make sense of this, guys, let's put it this way. What I'm trying to explain is that Puffy did the deed to Pac, and Suge always had a problem with that, especially since the award ceremony. Suge was trying to retaliate. So I don't feel like Notorious B.I.G. was going to sign with Suge because Suge was the one that got rid of Notorious B.I.G. And I felt like Puffy pushed B.I.G. to Kali because B.I.G. did not want to go to Kali because he knew Suge I hit out on him. And he tried everything in his mama not to go to California. It's once again, it's confusing, but when you understand the timeline, then you understand like, wow. Puffy had parts in both. In both. That is true. But Suge only retaliated for Notorious B.I.G. Wow. That's a lot to unpack. Got anything to say?
The only thing I can honestly say about this whole thing about with Sean Combs is that he is a very evil, vindictive individual.
Mm.
He literally, I just can't. I was just like, it's one thing. I've always felt like like his. I've said it before, even years ago. I said I always found it weird that Diddy didn't have a scratch. He never had a scratch.
Yeah.
For me, I just think Diddy just really, he is really just caused all these things to happen for his bottom line. I do. I really feel like he's done it for his bottom line, and it's obvious. And for some reason, he still comes out kind of okay.
How I see it is, because we're not going there. Diddy has abandonment issues. And when anybody close to
You want to
him
take
tries
psychological?
to
Got
lose,
you. Okay.
when anybody close to him tries to leave, he will take you down. Not only that, it's because he has low self-esteem. And I can't say it's a Napoleon complex. Maybe I can say it's a Napoleon complex with it. He wants to be the biggest man, the big man. And when he's not, when center of attention is not on him,
Loses it.
yeah. So not only with abandonment issues, a center Napoleon complex, he is a dangerous individual to do. Also, we need to understand something that is very important about P. Diddy. He does not like to lose. And no matter what, he makes it a priority when you do anything to him to make it be known that he is not the individual to mess with. No matter what. Everybody has always underestimated him, and he knows that. So he makes it his purpose not to be underestimated.
All I have to say is, once again, tick tock, tick tock. Curtis Jackson.